17.
Five most disturbing Tinder meetups. I'm very excited about this one. Who's ready, bro? 5 most disturbing Tinder meetup. Wait, why is it 2 minutes in?
Woman, and he didn't consider himself too attractive. He figured he might as well try his luck with dating apps.
Okay.
As is often the case for average-looking guys in online dating, Alex initially didn't get a lot of attention from the kind of girls he wanted to meet up with.
Mine was the opposite, bro. It was so annoying how many women were just saying match, match, match. It was like, oh my god. It's alright though.
But things took a turn when pretty soon he got a message from a pretty blonde girl named Katie. At first, Alex assumed she was either a bot or a catfisher, as she was by far the most attractive girl who had ever paid him any real attention on the app. Being that it was his first time on the app, he didn't know entirely how to act. I mean, on the one hand, if Katie was a real girl, he didn't want to screw things up with her by ghosting her.
Yep.
But on the other hand, he didn't want to entertain any bot or walk into any obvious trouble.
Yep.
After overthinking for several hours, Alex finally decided to just ignore the text.
Trust me, guys, that was a fucking joke.
Frustrated by his unexciting introduction to
Oh! W's in the chat! If you're not putting a W in the chat, you ain't getting a gifted, bro. The universe pays people who put a W in the fucking chat for the goddamn 50 gifted banger from Fishes. The fucking GOAT, the man, the myth, the legend, pulling up with fucking Orange. Steez himself. Thank you, bro, with the 50, bro. Appreciate you in the com. Appreciate you gifting, taking care of the com, baby. Appreciate you.
But unlike most bots who usually don't message people more than once after being ignored, Katie reached out to him once again just 3 days later.
Thank you, Fishes.
In the back of his mind, he was still a little bit suspicious, but he was strongly considering the possibility that Katie was a real person. And after taking a more in-depth look at her profile, he decided to give her a chance and texted her back.
Hey, Fishes, I'm good, bro. Even better now that you're here, my guy. The fucking GOAT.
Thinking, what's the worst that could happen? Against all expectations, Alex and Katie hit it off immediately, like to the point where they were messaging each other pretty much every day.
Ah, God, this is gonna be scary.
Having that nagging feeling in the back of his mind that she actually wasn't real the entire time, he finally asked her to prove she was real by having a video call.
43-year-old male Katie, bro. Nah.
Problem doing that. Fast forward a couple of weeks, and they were having phone conversations and video calls all the time. It was pretty much clear that Katie was a real person. After talking with Alex on Tinder for about a month, Katie suggested that Alex should go and visit her. Even though he trusted her by this point, he was still hesitant to meet up with a girl he met up online.
Bro, at this point, bro, you gotta get your ass up off that app, bro, because, like, how are you about to... You can't even enjoy the fruits of the labor that you've created. Like, if you're not gonna, like, bro, no, man.
Especially considering the fact that they were 8 hours apart. But Katie continued to insist, and after weighing all his options, Alex finally accepted, figuring he could take off a day or two to go see if they actually had any in-person chemistry. When the day came, he was nervous, but the last thing he wanted to do was cancel on her. So he started to drive to Katie's place. However, not long into
Bro, driving 8 hours for some jiggle physics is genuinely down bad.
He started to notice something was a little off.
Okay.
She messaged him almost compulsively to ask him where it was and how long until he was gonna be there. Even though she must have known Alex was driving, whenever he took more than half an hour to respond, she would spam him with texts, insisting he check his phone more often. It threw him off a bit, of course, but Alex was nervous, and so he chalked it up to her being nervous as well.
Jiggle physics, trust me, listen. I understand it, but bro, 8 hours?
Kept driving, and as he got closer to the location Katie had given him, he realized it was going to be harder than he thought to find the house. The directions were pretty confusing, and he had to drive through a series of gravel roads surrounded by thick trees to get to the location.
Oh, fuck right off, dude. It's so simple. Like, at this point... Are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious? Fishes, bro. Are you fucking serious, bro? Are you fucking serious, bro? Are you fucking serious, Fishes, bro? Chat, I am on Twitch, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are on Twitch as well. I'm about to glaze Fishes and the gifters. The biggest streamers in the world... And streamers bigger than me do not have communities that support the way ours does. Chat, correct me if I'm wrong. People show up in this stream and genuinely spoil the comm and make sure everyone's taken care of, bro. Almost on a weekly basis, you can expect someone to show up and take care of the people. It is fucking insane. So Fishes, bro. You are literally in the top 3 of the comm. You're actually a fucking icon in the space, bro. Your name actually has aura. Your name has aura, bro. You're the fucking GOAT, man. So thank you for the 150! Look at all the hats in the chat! Ain't nobody getting ads! It's fucking insane, Fishes. I hope you had a great fucking day. I hope you had a great fucking space. And if Fishes, again, you don't ever have to gift anymore. We appreciate when you do, but no one's holding you accountable to that. We want you to just enjoy the streams as much as the next people. Okay, we want you to be a regular chatter as well. We don't want, people aren't going to beg for it. You just come in and spoil it and you hang out one day. That's totally fine, bro. You fucking GOAT. Thank you for the 50 and the 106. You absolute fucking beast. Okay? You're a fucking specimen.
And every road kind of just looked the same.
W's
After
the
driving
chat, bro.
around in probably multiple circles for what felt like hours, he finally made it to Katie's at about 2 p.m. He was immediately surprised by how old the house looked.
Oh, GG. Katie ain't living in an old house. I'm curious. This has actually got me on the edge of my seat.
There was a boarded up window on the second floor, and the building looked like it had seen better days for sure. Still, he caught a glimpse of the red buggy that Katie loved to talk about over text, and feeling slightly comforted, he parked right in front of the garage. He texted her that he was there, and Katie replied with a single smiley face. It was a bit weird, but he figured that was the go-ahead to get out of the car and finally knock on the door, so he did so.
Yes, Fishes, we did it earlier, but we'll have it back tomorrow. We have Indonesia tomorrow.
Noticed an older guy staring down at him from one of the second-floor windows. The drive there had already been pretty strange, but this was by far the creepiest thing that had happened to him ever since he left his house.
Please don't get...
Still, he did remember one time over the phone how Katie had talked about her dad and how he would...
No! You are a grown-ass fucking man, bro. Dude. Oh, dude, you're not on Tinder to meet somebody's dad, bro. Oh, that's not her dad.
Times visit her, and he assumed the man...
Macy with a 10! Go on, Macy!
On the second floor must have been him.
Legend!
Again, going back to feeling nervous, he finally knocked on the front
Appreciate
door,
you, Macy.
where Katie
Fucking
appeared
goat.
a few seconds later, inviting him in with a warm smile. Even though he FaceTimed her multiple times, so he pretty much already knew she was real, after all the things that had happened, he was pretty relieved to actually see her in person.
Macy of the GOAT.
She gave him a hug, and he breathed a bit of a sigh of relief. They talked for a little while, and that's when Alex asked her why she hadn't told him about her dad being there.
Boppity boop, what the fuck? Boppity boopski with the 5! Go on, Boppity boop, what a name that is. Holy fucking shit, that's peak. W Boppity booping at Shizay.
That day, Katie's face instantly showed confusion, and she responded that her dad was halfway across the country and wasn't planning on visiting for at least a few weeks. As far as she knew, she was home alone.
What?
Thinking she was obviously just trying to scare him now, Alex kind of rolled his eyes and explained how he had seen her dad looking at him through the second floor window when he got out of his car.
Oh, God.
That's when Katie's face turned an obvious pale color, and she whispered to Alex that they had to leave the house immediately.
What? Okay. Hang on, now I'm getting creeped out, because is Katie not in on this?
Surprised by the seriousness of her reaction, his heart kind of fell to the bottom of his chest, realizing they might be in serious danger. They went out the front door and got a good view of the house a good distance away, and that's when Alex begged for an explanation. According to Katie, she wasn't expecting any other visitors, and she didn't know who the old man was or how he had even gotten in.
No way.
Alex called the police as Katie was sort of standing behind him, and that's when he heard her kind of gasp and point up at the second floor window. There again was the old man looking down at them. He looked sort of old and frail, as if he hadn't eaten in several days. As soon as he noticed that he had been noticed, he sort of backed away, slowly disappearing into the darkness of the rest of the house and out of view from Katie and Alex. Pretty terrified from the sight, the two of them got into Alex's car, where they locked the doors and waited for police to arrive. They didn't want to fully leave the premises because they wanted to be there when the police arrived, but they also wanted some sort of safety to protect them if any sort of danger came their way.
That's kind of smart. That's kind of smart. That way it can't rotate out of there.
2 police officers arrived about 30 minutes later. They happily searched the entire house from top to bottom. However, they didn't find anything, except the back door hanging wide open, but the man himself was nowhere to be seen inside the house. The cops couldn't really do anything at that point, so they kind of just
Katie was genuinely real?
told the two to go back inside and make sure all the doors and windows are locked, and to call them back if anything else happened. They left, and Katie, pretty understandably, was too scared to spend the night alone, and so Alex agreed to stay with her downstairs on the couch to avoid going to the second floor.
You sly dog. You sly fucking dog.
Katie explained how her dad owned a shotgun, and so the two...
Yo. Imagine trying to get some cheeks, man. Imagine trying to get some cheeks, and you end up having to man the shotgun in case someone breaks into the house. No. Yo, I'm not here to blow somebody's brain off, man. I'm here to blow your back. Okay, lock in.
Them grabbed it and put it by their side as they sat there. They sort of tried to fall asleep, and a couple hours later, Katie actually managed to do so. But Alex sort of felt an obligation to protect her, and so he remained awake watching TV with the shotgun now on his lap. Ever since the cops had left, the night was going pretty peacefully, and Alex...
Macy winning 10 more WD shot for the guilt, Macy!
Forgetting about what had all happened, he even thought he might still have a chance with Katie the next day.
Okay!
But at around 2 a.m., Alex started to hear the sound of a doorknob being turned in the upstairs kitchen.
Up it! Up the switch!
Horrified, he tightened his grip on the shotgun, determined to scare away whoever was trying to get into the
house. Open that fucking door!
He slowly walked up the stairs to the kitchen, where he turned on a light so his presence would be known. He pointed the shotgun at the door that was making the noise, and to his horror, on the other side of the glass door, he saw the same frail-looking old man from earlier that afternoon. For a guy who was blatantly breaking and entering, the man looked shocked to see Alex, but after a couple of seconds, he turned around and ran off into the woods once again. He immediately went downstairs to wake up Katie and told her what had happened, and called the cops for the second time that day. Again, they took about 30 minutes to arrive, and this time, instead of
30 minutes, Ben? Nah, cops gotta slide, son.
Searching just the house, they also searched the surrounding woods. However, the old man again was nowhere to be found. All they could do this time was suggest to Katie and Alex to go sleep somewhere else for the night, as obviously this house was not safe.
But
realistically, Alex realized that they probably should have done this after the first time of seeing him, but he was kind of just going along with Katie. Obviously, he realized this wasn't the best first date, but he was just happy that the two of them were okay. The cops left, and so Alex and Katie sort of said their goodbyes, and Katie went to go spend the night at her friend's house.
This dude drove 8 hours for physics, ended up manning the shotgun for a home intrusion, and got a fucking hug? Holy Christ almighty. That might be the worst it's ever been.
Alex hung around for a little while longer to call his brother and tell him about what had happened. A few minutes later, sitting in his car on the phone with his brother
Surely
and about
not.
to pull away, he saw someone move out of the corner of his eye. He noticed it was the same old man standing in front of the house watching him. He put the pedal to the floor and told his brother what was happening, sort of as it was happening. After he got off the phone with his brother, he debated calling Katie and telling her what had happened.
Dude, poor bro.
He didn't really want to, knowing that it might scare her, but ultimately he decided he probably should. Although he did end up going on a couple of dates with Katie after that, he said he never fully got over the incident, and they eventually broke things off. According to Alex, Katie never went back to that house alone.
That was actually so entertaining. Wait, hang on, this is a fucking banger! Wait, holy fuck. This dude went on a Tinder date and had to almost shoot somebody with a shotgun and got a hug.
In 2015, Ryan Nolan was 20 years old and was enjoying all that Tinder had to offer. Aside from the occasional bad date where he got...
No, deadass, I'm not blaming Katie, bro. I'm laughing at the dude that drove 8 hours. Katie did nothing wrong. Katie's obviously allowed to just hug him and call it a day. It's just so fucking peak that this dude meant to go on a date and talking about some of your dad's upstairs. She goes, my dad's not home. Oh, fuck. There's an old head creepazoid in your fucking attic.
Stood up or just didn't connect with the girl he met up with. He was pretty happy with the way things were going for him on the app overall. One weekend in the winter, he made plans to visit some friends at Indiana University in Bloomington.
Okay.
You know, just to hang out, go out, and have fun.
Okay, my boy. Okay, I'ma fuck with you.
The first night he was there, everything went according to plan, and Ryan had a blast partying with his buddies. At some point during the weekend, he figured he might as well get on Tinder to try and meet up with a cute girl in Bloomington.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. When it rains, it fucking pours, you naughty bastard.
And see where things went. Like usual for Ryan, it didn't take long for him to get a match.
Oh my god! Come on, man! That's too easy!
And after talking to this girl named Jane for a little less than a day, they started making plans to meet up that same evening. Jane was pretty...
I let him cook! Nah! That same fucking... Oh, come on, babe.
Attractive and fun to talk to, so he thought, why not? After letting his friends know he was going to meet up with his Tinder date, he left the apartment and made the 5-minute drive to her place. As soon as he got to the building, he texted Jane in the app and asked her which door he was supposed to go in. He waited for her to respond as he sat in his car, but soon realized that was kind of stupid, and so he got out of his car and started walking around the complex to hopefully give her an idea of where he was, and maybe he'd see her outside her door. After a while, as he was walking, Jane finally responded, and Ryan finally could walk to the right door. He stepped in front of it and texted her back to meet him at the door and let him in, assuming the door would be locked. Keep in mind, it was about 10 p.m. in the dead of winter. He looked back and forth from his phone screen to see if she responded, back to the door to see if she was answering it. That's when he noticed movement from the corner of his eye coming from one of the windows. He took a better look and saw what looked like 4 different people looking at him through the blinds. He thought it was pretty creepy, but he also didn't know that window was to Jane's specific apartment. It could have been one of her neighbors or something, and he also wasn't in the best part of town, so he kind of just brushed it off. He again texted Jane to ask her where she was. Less than a minute later, his phone dinged, and it was her replying that the front door to the complex was already open.
Oh! Here we go.
He was kind of surprised that she would leave the door unlocked so late at night, especially in this part of town.
Tell me you don't open it.
He walked in and shut the door behind him. There was only one dim light, so he couldn't really see anything and was fidgeting around the wall looking for a light switch. Almost immediately, he heard a voice behind an apartment door whisper, "He's right outside the door." That's when he realized the window he saw outside was to Jane's apartment. It was just to a different room. He got a strong gut reaction telling him he was in danger, and he quickly sprinted out of the complex.
Good.
Now running, he went to his car and hightailed it out of there as fast as he could.
Good. Like I say, chat, there is this thing that humans and animals and all things on Earth have. And that is a fucking powerful intuition on when it's time. When it is time to fucking hear that instinct and intuition, it is so loud. And it makes you genuinely survive if you let it. He goes, I need to go, right? We've all pushed the boundary. This is a little bit weird. I'm trying to get with this girl. It's a little weird. Girl's just an example. Little weird, little weird, little weird. Then when it becomes too weird, bang, and you're fucking up out of there.
The whole way back, he couldn't stop thinking about what would have happened to him.
Oh, GG Rick. Everyone say GG Rick in the chat. He just said his door opened by itself. GG Rick in the chat.
Continued further, thinking some sort of Jane was actually in there. He was starting to realize that Jane probably didn't exist at all, and that thought alone sent shivers down his spine.
Hey, Rick, you were a good chatter, bro.
Back to his friend's place, he
Tell Jerry I said hi.
Explained everything to them about what had happened.
Catfish by a fox or a coyote.
They didn't really take him that seriously and kind of assumed he was just overreacting about the whole thing. A little later that evening, they went and got a few beers, and right before—
Oh my god, I'm trying to kick it with this cat!
Before he went to bed, he got an ominous text from Jane saying, "Where did you go? I've been waiting for you all night." Immediately, he blocked the number and went to sleep. He never found out who exactly was waiting for him in that apartment, but if one thing's for sure, he knew it wasn't a girl named Jane. In 2021, Abe was dumped by his long-term girlfriend. The experience left him pretty bruised up, but after a while, he decided to get back out there and start dating again.
Okay.
Abe was more on the shy side, and so he wasn't the best at asking girls out.
Okay.
He wasn't exactly sure why, but either way, it wasn't his strong suit.
Okay.
When Abe had met his ex 6 years earlier, Tinder and other dating apps were just becoming popular, so online dating was pretty unfamiliar to him.
Okay.
But now he was single, and so he was pretty excited to try it out for the first time.
Okay.
He had a few friends that had found success on dating apps, and so he was pretty optimistic. But after a few months of using Tinder, he realized online dating wasn't at all what he thought it would be. He only managed to meet up with one girl in a park, and after 20 minutes, she played the classic phone call move, claiming she had gotten
didn't even know that was a move. I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't even know that was a move.
And called into work. As you can probably guess, he never heard back from her again.
God.
He was about to call it and just give up on dating apps completely when he got matched with a girl named Danny. She was a really pretty girl who he knew was way out of his league and had a sneaking suspicion that he was being catfished or played by one of his friends.
Damn.
He'd heard many stories of catfishing, and at one point he thought for sure Danny was going to be some 50-year-old dude. But because he didn't have many other options, and
yo, dude, nah, bro, come on, you just gotta fucking delete the apps, man.
He was thrilled at the small possibility of Danny being who she said she was. He continued to talk to her anyway. They talked for a few days, and finally agreed to meet at a local park, which Abe thought would be a perfect spot for a first date. There was this big lake in the middle, and a series of trails that went all around the lake, which he thought would be pretty romantic. They agreed to meet up at 5 p.m. when the
Wait, any women in the chat? Just in case there's any young men in here that need some advice, or you never know. If any women are watching the stream, what is the top 3? Give me one of your top 3 first date spots, bro.
Both of them had gotten off of work. A little after 5, she messaged him saying she was walking
no
to
wrong
the
answers.
pavilion where
All
the
preference.
picnic tables were. He looked over to his left out of his car
James,
window.
you're obviously not a woman, and your answer was the dumpster. You're honestly cooked. This is some shit you would do.
Oh, and sure enough, there was the girl from the Tinder pictures. She was actually real. A newfound nervousness knowing that she was actually...
Your bedroom. Okay, guys. This is the city, and just walk around and talk forever. Boom. First day with my husband. There's ball knowledge. Hiking or a movie night. Bang. Let's go. Cafe, dinner, window shopping. Bang. Let's go. My man took me to the cutest restaurant. Bang. Meal out, bowling, or walking around the city. Bang. Museum, my fiance took me. It was beautiful. Bang. Netflix and chill. Your username is Stinky Puss Love. I wouldn't expect anything else. Dinner for sure. Movie, wine tasting. Okay, I like it.
Real. Abe got out of the car and walked up to her.
McDonald's watching kids? Yeah, you're getting a 30-second.
They were able to talk for a few hours and actually
Go
had
on,
some
I like
pretty
red,
good
thank
chemistry between the two of them. Abe honestly couldn't believe he was pulling it off. Later that evening, as their talk was starting to wrap up, they decided to go for a walk on one of the trails, not wanting to end the date. And even though it was starting to get dark
Any
out,
women that actually answered that question, that was good. I'm sure some people that are lurking watched that. There was a bunch of bullshit, but they saw it.
they decided to do it. Normally, Abe would never have agreed to walk in the dark with a stranger he had just met online. But he felt calm with Danny for some reason.
Hooters.
They even held hands, and for the first time since he had been dumped, Abe felt something special. They walked for a long time along the lake until it was pretty much completely dark, at which point Danny suggested that they turn around and start making their way back to the parking lot.
Okay.
For the first few minutes, the walk back was perfect. They had a few more good conversations, and it felt like the chemistry was continuing to grow. However, that's when things took a turn for the worse. They weren't far from the parking lot when Abe noticed what looked like a man standing in the walkway.
Okay, so Danny set us up. We're about to get slammed by this fella.
Watching them from a distance. The guy was just standing there, which obviously wasn't normal, and he could barely see him from the distance, so he started to wonder if it was just his imagination. He didn't say anything to Danny at first, but...
That's a good idea. Yeah, on a first date, there's a creepy-ass dude in the walkway. Instead of bringing it up, just let him stand there and stare at us. Yeah, how about this? You're gonna get fucking slimed out of your cock.
They got closer. With the help of the faint light of the moon shining through the trees, he realized it was a person. Danny froze before Abe could say anything, and that's when he asked her if she could see the man.
Fish of the goat.
She said that she could. That's when Danny shouted at the man and asked him if he needed anything, but the man just continued to stand there, staring at them. Abe was a bit taken aback by this, thinking they should just sneak away rather than make some giant scene about it. He thought this would put them at a better chance of being attacked, but he also didn't want to seem too scared in front of Danny.
Man, get your ego up out of here, Ben. Listen, I could meet a woman for the first time. As soon as I'm scared, guess what? Whoever's faster. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm going to keep it a buckski. I'm not going to get in some confrontation I don't need, bro. I'm saying we're up out of here. You know what I'm saying? We're up out of here, bro. I'm not trying to be Mr. Tough Guy, throw some hands and shit. Boy, listen, you can't fight crazy, and I don't want to fight it.
He tried to write off the whole thing as some idiot trying to play a joke on them, doing his best to hide the fear in his voice as he also yelled out.
I'm going like this. I'm going like this. Pretend I'm holding their hand. I'm going like this. fuck, and then I'm gone. And then I'm gone.
Danny reluctantly nodded towards the man, ensuing that they should keep going.
Nah, I'm trolling.
So
I would never do that.
So he walked with her. He continued to pray that the man was just playing a joke on them, or that he would just turn around and leave them alone.
Huss!
But the guy didn't move at all. To make matters worse, they could now clearly see that he was concealing something behind his back.
GG.
When they were about 10 feet away from him, the man finally moved his hands from behind his back and pointed a hunting knife at them.
Oh, yeah, guess what, bro? Now it's a speed test. We're fucking gone. Hopefully you're somewhat athletic.
In a low and rough voice, he commanded them to turn around and put their hands above their head. Abe sort of froze up, not realizing the reality of the situation he was in. He honestly had no clue what to do.
He just fucking told you, Nimrod. Tighten up.
He had never been robbed before, and at that moment, he knew he was in very real danger. And that's when he suspected Danny of setting him up. He kind of looked over at her and wondered if she really could be behind this.
Ask her.
However, that thought quickly left his head when Danny started to aggressively argue with the guy. Before Abe could even process what was happening, she started running at the armed man.
Yo! Danny! What are you doing?
Right before she reached him, she kind of threw her body at him and managed to knock him over.
Oh, shit! Go on, Danny! What? Fuck!
As soon as the man hit the ground face up, she shouted for Abe to run. Abe, kinda now even more taken aback by—
What a pussy! Yo, Abe, bro, go jump that dude! See, now I'm on his ass too. Bro, if the shorty I'm with decks this motherfucker to the ground, son, we going over there and we're making a s'more on his ass. I'm fucking come on!
What he was seeing just stood there, but finally started to run. He didn't want to leave Danny alone, but he didn't really need much more convincing. A couple of seconds later, Danny managed to get up and caught up to Abe.
Yo, who the fuck is Danny?
They could both clearly hear the man running after them as they made their way off the trail and sort of down this shortcut towards the parking lot. As soon as they got there, they both threw themselves into Danny's car and drove off, not even checking if there was anyone behind them.
In Danny's car. Let me guess, Danny drove away. Man, fuck this dude.
As they pulled out of the parking lot. As they picked up speed and were starting to actually drive off, Abe looked in his rearview mirror, and that's when he saw the man with the knife in his hand still standing there. He was standing alone in the parking lot, again just staring at them as they drove off. Another thing they did notice is that there were other cars in the parking lot at the time of leaving. There were 3 other ones.
Bro, Danny's the fucking goat, bro. How you better let... Bro, ain't no fucking way. She sprinted at the dude and decked his ass?
This made them think that the guy may have had other accomplices with him. When they were a safe distance away, they called the police and reported what had just happened.
Holy
The cops arrived at the scene pretty quickly, but the man was long gone, and the only car left in the lot now was Abe's. After they gave their statements to the cops and they left the area...
She's definitely a champion. Bro, Danny, he said... Before this, they said Danny was a baddie. Danny was good at conversation. Danny also sprinted at the dude, decked his ass and said run, then caught up to him and drove off in her car. She's a champion.
They decided to go on a late night dinner and stayed up all night talking about what had just happened.
Fuck yeah. That's my... That's what I'm on about. Come on, at least tell me they shared a kiss.
It was almost like the shared sense of danger from the incident had brought them closer in some way.
Yeah.
And despite his horror, Abe decided to just go with it. Fast forward to 2 years later, and Abe and Danny are now engaged.
Bang! Let's fucking go! Let's go, man! Let's fucking go! Bro, hell yeah!
Whenever they're asked about how they met, they always have a laugh at people's reactions when
Fuck
they tell
yeah.
them that they met on Tinder and almost got killed on their first date.
Bro, Danny definitely proposed to his sorry ass. This video is fucking
21,
peak.
Taylor had just gotten dumped by his girlfriend and had also recently become a police officer. As a 21-year-old new cop, he had this sort of I'm invincible and I can take on anyone mentality.
Oh, that's shit.
So when he downloaded Tinder and matched with a good-looking girl named Brianna, who was way out of his league, he assumed things would go great for him. After getting to know her a while on Tinder, they finally set up a date to meet. Brianna had mentioned our house had this great open field to
Appreciate
sort
the
of
red
just
moon.
look at the stars, hang out, and talk, and she offered for it to be their first date location. Taylor thought it was as good a spot as any and agreed. When the night came for them to meet,
Taylor definitely showed up with his fucking uniform on and shit. Except he had like a fucking... No, never mind.
he was pretty excited to pick her up, and she seemed pretty excited as well as she got into his car.
Okay.
As she guided him to the field, Taylor knew it was going to be a great night. They had lucked out with the weather, and there were a ton of stars out. And it was this huge, peaceful, open space with some nice woods, there were deer, and there were even other wildlife visible in the distance. It was the textbook perfect spot for a first date. However, as soon as Taylor parked the car, he noticed some really dim headlights in the distance. It looked like a van, but he wasn't entirely sure. When the vehicle got closer, he confirmed that it was a van, and he was a bit confused thinking they were the only ones on the property. As the van got closer, it didn't look like it was stopping, and it was in perfect head-on collision line with the parked car they were in. But as it got closer, it finally hit the brakes and stopped almost headlight to headlight with their parked car.
That's either a fox or a coyote, or it's Danny.
It pretty much blocked Taylor's car from moving forward at all. Brianna seemed to have a confused look on her face, and so assuming she didn't know who it was, he kind of prepared for the worst and told her to stay in the car while he went to see what was going on.
Man, get your sorry. Always a cop.
He grabbed his flashlight and walked up to the van, where he saw a pretty big...
License and registration? Get your ass back in the whip, bum!
Dude sitting in the driver's seat. Sort of angrily at this point, he asked him what was going on and if he could back up his car a little bit. Surprisingly, the man was actually really polite, and in a low, kind voice, he said he was the owner of the property and didn't mean to scare them at all. According to the man, who introduced himself as Bob, he had been having trouble with poachers on his property and just wanted to make sure Taylor and Brianna weren't going to be shooting at the deer or hurting any of the other animals on the property.
No.
Taylor, a bit taken aback by this, lowered his voice to a more calm level. He smiled politely and assured him that they only came out to look at the stars and the wildlife. Bob seemed to be pretty happy with his explanation, and a few seconds later he wished them a nice evening and drove away. Taylor, pretty happy with how he had handled things, went back to his car ready to enjoy his first date.
Okay, Samora.
However, now Brianna, for whatever reason, didn't seem to be on the same page, and he noticed something very off about her behavior. Instead of actually talking to him and enjoying the date like they were just before, she was now texting nonstop, and when Taylor asked her who she was talking to, she refused to answer.
Oh, this could be a setup.
He thought it was pretty weird, but he chalked it up to her nervousness or whatever and tried his best to strike up a fun conversation with her. About an hour later, he saw the same headlights coming towards them again, this time at a much faster pace than before. Feeling that he and his date were now in serious danger, he hopped in his truck and moved to a more defensive position. After the van screeched to a stop inches away from Taylor's car, even closer than before, Brianna jumped out of the truck and ran towards the van. Taylor at first was sort of confused, thinking why she would run to this van that seems
set him up.
To be a threat to them. However, that's when Taylor realized he had been set up. Thinking quickly, he got out of his truck and commanded them to get on the ground. Obviously, though, neither Brianna or who he now realized was Bob complied. To Taylor's horror, Bob then charged at him and knocked him on the ground. Using all of his strength, Taylor managed to get up on his back and get up before Bob could grab him again. Everything was happening too quickly for him to process, but he knew he had to do something quickly or something really messed up would happen to him. That's when he saw Brianna, who a second ago he trusted, grabbed a metal pipe from Bob's van.
Damn! What?
She sort of shouted at him that they had a gun, but that if he gave them all his money and his truck, he would walk away unharmed.
Tell me, nah. 2v1 his ass and keep your shit.
Now, again, Taylor had this sort of I'm invincible kind of mindset, and so he refused, to
Come on, baby.
which Brianna started to cry, saying that she didn't want to hurt him if she didn't have to. When he saw Bob run back to the van, he finally revealed to them he was a cop, and he drew his concealed gun and commanded...
Oh, my fucking... Woo-hoo! Said, funny enough, I got my shit on me, bitch.
them to get on the ground. After a moment of shock, they finally complied, and Taylor scrambled to call 911. Just as he was telling dispatch that he had 2 suspects at gunpoint and needed backup immediately, Bob and Brianna got up and quickly started sprinting away into the darkness. Even though he knew it was a dumb choice at the time, Taylor initially started chasing them and ran into the woods around the field.
No.
The chase lasted maybe 30 seconds when Taylor heard 3 loud pops and saw a muzzle flash in the distance. Now feeling true panic for the first time that night, he sprinted back to his car and put the pedal to the metal until he was a safe distance away. Minutes later, he went back to the house where he'd picked up Brianna, called dispatch again, and asked the cops to come to that location. As soon as his sergeant and field training officer got there, obviously knowing who he was, they sort of gave him crap about having to call the cops. When he really was the cops, he was just off duty. However, at the same time, they did recognize the seriousness of the situation and got in a patrol car and all drove down towards the field.
This video is cinema.
To everyone's surprise, the van was still there. To Taylor's disappointment, his sergeant ordered him to stay in the car, keep his mouth shut, and only come out if they were getting shot at. Although the sergeant and training officer didn't find any sign of Bob or Brianna, they did find drugs in the center console of the car.
Yeah, call the police.
But that wasn't all they found. When they came back to the patrol car, they weren't doing any more joking around, and the both of them looked pale and horrified at what they had just seen. They told Taylor to follow them back to the van, and after peering inside, he saw several knives, duct tape, lighter fluid, a decent amount of rifle ammo, handcuffs, and what looked to be dried blood. In the front passenger side, they found an AR-15 style rifle and 2 more handcuffs. The atmosphere obviously immediately changed as the 3 of them looked at each other wide-eyed. The team called for backup, and a few minutes later detectives arrived at the scene, which is where it was revealed that the plates were stolen and that the van had been reported stolen a few weeks prior to the incident. Taylor does still get picked on by his supervising officers about the incident to this day, but he's just happy.
How are they picking on this dude? How are they picking on this dude? What is there to pick on? What? What are they? What? What's the funny part? Bro, remember that night you guys went on a Tinder date and you nearly got fucking assassinated and duct taped to a tree? Yeah, that's not really funny.
No one got hurt. Since that night, he never went back to online dating again.
What's the joke? What's the punchline?
In 2019, Sabrina matched with a guy on Tinder named Nick, who she thought was really cute. Because she'd had plenty of good experiences using dating apps in the past, her guard was a little down, and she rarely let her friends know what she was doing, who she was with, or where she was.
Okay.
For the first
Not my favorite instinct.
couple of dates with this guy, they went to get coffee or on walks outside. After about 2 weeks of dating, Sabrina decided she really liked Nick. He was friendly, good looking, he was funny, he had his life together, and they also had great chemistry together.
He reminds me of me a little.
For their 3rd date, Nick suggested that Sabrina should come over to his place to have some wine.
Okay. I'm gonna fuck with you.
Feeling safe and comfortable enough to be alone with this guy at this point, Sabrina agreed. When the night of their date finally came, she went over to Nick's house, excited to get to know him even better.
Okay, Nick! Hey, you're gonna get to know all of me tonight, shorty.
The two joked around for a bit and started talking like on their previous dates. After a while, Nick poured her a glass of wine. At this point, Sabrina thought things were going really well and she felt comfortable in his company. However, after a while, at about 8 p.m., Sabrina started feeling a little funny.
No, he roofied it. Fuck off. He roofied it. Fuck! I can just tell.
Felt almost sleepy and a little weak. She had trouble stringing a sentence together. Now, in the past, Sabrina...
Fuck this Nick, dude!
Sabrina had been roofied once before at a college party, and so she immediately recognized the effects as soon as they kicked in.
Fuck.
But at the exact same time, now realizing the danger of the situation she was in, she pretended she was feeling fine. From her past experience...
That's elite. That's knowledge. That's game time knowledge. That is game time knowledge.
She knew she only had a few minutes before she passed out and was left vulnerable and at the mercy of this man that she thought she could trust. She knew she had to do something, and so at around 8:15, Sabrina told Nick as quickly and energetically as possible that she needed to use the bathroom, trying her best to make it seem as if nothing was off.
Yes.
Fortunately, Nick didn't seem to notice anything strange about her behavior.
Yes. Fucking well done from you. Fucking well done.
And once she was inside the bathroom, she locked the door immediately and called the police. As Sabrina sat there, her surroundings starting to blur, she told them that she had been drugged and that they needed to come get her out before something terrible happened.
Yes.
Less than a minute after giving the cops Nick's address and hanging up the phone, she was completely out.
Fuck.
But because she was still under the effects of the drug, she felt herself slide in and out of consciousness during this time.
But she locked the door, though. She locked the door.
All she remembers is the police putting a bag over her head as they carried her around to the bathroom and
Wait, what?
All she remembers is the police putting a bag over her head as they carried her around to the bathroom and into the patrol car.
Why? To hide her identity or something?
Following this entire incident, Sabrina was understandably traumatized, but at that point, she wasn't even aware of how badly things could have ended for her.
Did Nick maybe get smoked or something? Maybe they didn't want her to see? Yeah.
She not reacted as quickly as she did. A few days later, she received a call from the police asking her to come down to the station to give her statement. Once there, she mentioned to the cops that the only thing she remembered clearly was that they had put a bag over her head, but that she could have imagined it due to the effects of the drug.
Why'd they put that over her head?
As soon as she said this, the cops looked at each other uncomfortably and confessed that they had indeed put a bag over her head. Sabrina looked at them, kinda confused. They quickly explained that it was actually to protect her. When they walked into the apartment, they saw that Nick had set up something extremely disturbing for her in the living room, and that seeing it would have been too traumatizing for Sabrina. She immediately felt a shiver go down her spine.
Oh, that's actually awesome from the cops, though. That's a heads-up play, man. That's a heads-up play. I'm gonna keep it a buck. That's a heads-up play.
Because Nick was thrown in jail following the incident, she never found out what exactly he had prepared for her. However, she kind of sees this as a good thing.
Yeah.
After this whole nightmare, Sabrina deleted Tinder and vowed never to go back to online dating again.
Wow. Jesus Christ, chat.